Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something a little different. It's a highly technical, very dense institutional document. It's called a clarification note.
And that name alone tells you a lot, doesn't it? It's all about setting the record straight on a huge body of work dealing with, well, some pretty big ideas.
Huge ideas, right? We're talking about global knowledge systems, orientation, meaning, all the abstract stuff. So our mission today is to really unpack the language here.
Exactly. We need to decode what they mean by phrases like epistemological and functional reflection and figure out why this clarification was so necessary in the first place.
Okay, so let's jump right into that. Why the sudden need for such strict definitions?
Well, the note explains that this whole project started as a response to, growing global complexity. The first few papers and presentations were just exploratory.
So they were just thinking out loud, in a way, testing the language.
That's a great way to put it. The source calls it an exploratory articulation process. But the problem is, when other big institutions, academic, governmental, start using your out loud thoughts as a basis for their work, you need rules.
You need consistency.
Absolutely consistency.
Yeah.
That ambiguity becomes a real liability. So this note is about ensuring everyone is interpreting the work the same way.
Okay, so they're moving from the sketch to the final blueprint. And the foundation of that blueprint seems to be this one core phrase. The work is strictly an epistemological and functional reflection.
Right, and that sounds incredibly abstract, I know. But let's break it down for you.
Please do.
When they say epistemological, they're making a very specific distinction. They aren't interested in whether a piece of knowledge is true in some grand metaphysical sense.
Okay.
Instead, they're looking at the structure of the knowledge. Think of it like analyzing the grammar of a sentence, not arguing about whether the sentence is telling the truth. It's about the how, not the ultimate what.
So it's a way to sidestep the big, unanswerable questions about belief and ultimate reality.
Precisely. And they make that incredibly clear. The note says, this work, and I'm quoting here, does not advance any doctrine, belief system, or ontological position.
Which is a huge statement. They're basically saying, we're not a philosophy, we're not a religion, we are a tool.
Exactly. And that's not just intellectual hair splitting, it's an operational necessity. For these diverse global institutions to work together, you simply can't have a framework that asks them to adopt a specific belief.
It would be a non-starter.
Complete non-starter. So the focus has to be on function. What the knowledge does, not what it is.
So if it's not about belief, what specific functions are they studying?
They zero in on two main areas: orientation-related and meaning-related functions.
And orientation here doesn't mean a compass, right?
No, not at all. An orientation-related function is more like your internal map. It's the framework that lets you understand your position relative to a goal or within a complex system. It's how you make sense of things so you can act.
Okay, that makes sense. But studying meaning without getting into metaphysics, that still feels tricky. How do they do that?
That's the core of the work, really. They analyze these functions alongside things we can measure, like physical measurement and cognitive computation.
Ah, so they're looking for the mechanics behind it.
You got it. They might study the computational structures that lead to a decision, or how cultural data shapes those internal maps we talked about. The key is, they're treated as observable phenomena for reflection, always without the metaphysical baggage.
So bring this all together. What's the final practical purpose of this document? What does it do?
At the end of the day, it's about institutional alignment. It's a common reference point, a shared glossary.
So that when a team in Geneva talks about meaning, they mean the same thing as a team in Tokyo or Washington.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation constructive and transparent. It stops practical, operational projects from getting bogged down in philosophical debate.
So the big takeaway for you here is that all of this dense technical language isn't just jargon for the sake of it. It's a very precise tool designed to navigate complexity.
It is. It's for ensuring that everyone can discuss these incredibly abstract concepts with some kind of shared intellectual consistency.
And that actually leaves us with a really fascinating final thought to mull over.
Yeah, it does. If this work explicitly and completely excludes all metaphysical assumptions, how can a global institution even begin to standardize a definition for something as deeply personal and subjective as meaning?
Something to think about.